Hello, good evening or good morning or whenever time you're watching this. It's time for another Cooking with Carl. After a long hiatus, we're making Swedish princess cake to celebrate my birthday tomorrow. First, of course, we gotta mix all the batter together, and in the words of Pitbull, here comes some egg whites. Not the greatest lyrics. After you mix up that batter, you gotta divide it out into a 1/3 and a 2/3 section. I know it's hard to tell, but it's important. Pop those suckers in your oven, set a timer for about 25 minutes or so, and we'll check on those later. While that cake's baking, we're gonna start on the pastry cream, starting with 2 cups of half and half, going right into a pot to scald. Now we got that bad boy simmering on the stove. You gotta whisk together with a fork your egg yolks that you've separated from before, in combination with some cornstarch, salt, and sugar until it's thick as 2 bricks. After your half and half has been scalded and you've got some thick egg mixture, you gotta ladle out some of that scalded half and half to bring up the temperature of that egg so you don't get scrambled eggs when you're making your pastry cream, and then stir that sucker for a long while. The really hard part is right when it starts to thicken. You gotta pull that sucker off the heat and keep stirring it, and then panic because you didn't take out your butter. You need cold butter to put in this thing because it's gotta cool down. If that keeps going, your egg yolks are gonna get hot. And as you can see, I think I've passed. It seems to still be smooth, or at least smooth enough. And we got this kind of pudding thing that we've got going on, and that's gonna be going on top and inside, coincidentally, after I mix in whipped cream. After you're done panic stirring your pastry cream, transfer it from bowl A into bowl B in the freezer, because you want to cool this sucker fast. Once it's cold, transfer it to your fridge, and you can keep it for allegedly up to 3 days, but I'm not doing that. Now that the time has gone by enough, your cakes are probably done, or at least they're starting to be. Remember, one is 1/3, one is 2/3, so be careful with that. The baking times are probably not going to be the same. So the 1/3 is going to come out quicker. Here it is. I tipped it out. Remember, test it in the middle with a knife. Make sure that it's not wiggly. A couple important notes about this recipe. I'm doing some skips. I decided not to do the marzipan bit. I know that it's traditional, but I just couldn't find any marzipan, and I couldn't really be bothered. Also, you're allegedly supposed to make a simple syrup and then brush it in between where the cake is going to be, in between the layers, but I'm going to also skip that because I think it's unnecessary. If you're doing this at home, you're more than welcome to do that, but I didn't feel like it. Now that the cakes are in the freezer, and the pastry cream is in the fridge, we're gonna let that cool and come check back on it later. Alright, the cakes have had a chance to cool, and unfortunately, it looks like they're the same size. My approximation did not work, and unfortunately that means I'm not gonna be able to cut these suckers in half. I mean, I could and make it a 4-layer, but I think I'm just going to be lazy and just do a 2-tier. Now, the one thing that's left is to decorate the darn thing. So I'm going to be mixing whipped cream with the pastry cream that I have, and a little bit of green food coloring, just folding it in until it's nice and uniform. I know it's weird to be green, but traditionally, these cakes are green covered. Now that's the color we're looking for, kind of a pistachio green, or like a cartoon grass green, I guess. Now we're getting finishing touches done. We've got our green stuff, and I've taken raspberry spread, and I have spread it on top of both of our layers. Since I'm not cutting it in half, it's going to have to just be 2. So I figure, why not have the top layer have raspberry on it? And now the last thing is just spread pastry cream inside on top of that raspberry layer, and then over the whole shebang-a-bang. I'll check back in with you after that's done. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Is it a pretty cake? No. Is it gonna taste good? Oh yeah. Also, I have like most of the pastry cream left. Like I didn't really make a dent. So I'm just gonna be eating that stuff with a spoon. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and this has been Cooking with Carl.